Hello Aquarius friends, this is Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aquarius March 2023 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. The theme of this month for Aquarius I'm calling Prolific Plutonian Power. If you don't already know, Pluto is moving into your sign. It's been dancing around for a long time, and now this month it moves into your sign. It will wobble back and forth a little bit for some time, but it will never leave the influence. And you've got 20 years, more than 20 years of this prolific Plutonian power. So we're going to talk about that and all of the other things that I see most noteworthy in your chart. So we are going to get to the Plutonian discussion. I want to talk about some other things first. First thing you can see from this chart, and by the way, if you're listening to the podcast version, you can always see, if I have visuals, you can see this indication on YouTube. Okay, so look at these. All of these planets in Aries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Also look, this Sun, going to get into Aries later in the month. This Mercury will also get into Aries. So we have 9 powerful fire players this month. It's very unusual for us to have so much Aries energy in March. Generally, we're working with Pisces, water domination. And we've got a little bit of that. We've got Mercury doing a quick stint in Pisces. We've got the Sun finishing its transit through Pisces. But that's it. I mean, of course, Neptune has been there for a long time, but it's completely dominated by these fire aspects. And for Aquarius, that is awesome news, because water placements do not connect and make sense and speak the same language as Aquarius placements the way that fire signs do. Fire and air are a little team. They speak each other's language. They enliven each other. They fuel each other. And you've got so much fuel. Never mind the Plutonian aspect of fuel. We'll get to that. But just in these more superficial levels, there's so much fuel this month to make positive change. And there couldn't be a better time. And there actually isn't a better time, because this is the month. So basically the end of January through April 7th. Is this wide open window of all the power, the personal planets going direct and all of the outer planets going direct. Direct means forward movement, outward movement, productivity, blazing ahead. What we've had from August all the way through the end of 2022 into January of 2023 was retrograde, inward and backward. And what we're going to have again starting into April is going to be inward and backward. It's a very dominated inward and backward year. We will have a Venus retrograde, and this is going to be the most open time of the year. So if you have to do something important, if you have to lock in some good astrology for a long-term project, make a big decision, this is not only one of the best months to have clarity, but also the best months to have the energy, the wherewithal, the support to make it happen. And because all of this energy really lights up your third house, it's going to, bring a lot of other people into the equation, relatives, neighbors, people you know. A lot of energy there. If you have to upgrade your device or your vehicle, transportation situation, this is one of the best months of the whole year. So you've got just the whole month is full of these beautiful 60-degree angles, because all of these Aries placements that are in process are making 60-degree angles with your Aquarius placement, which is the second most fabulous aspect in all of astrology. And it brings you opportunities, which I call the ingredients on a counter opportunity. Somebody gives you some raw materials and you have to convert them into something great. And you can look back at the time and say, I had nothing great, but you have to be honest with yourself if you want to take full advantage of this and say, where can I convert something into gold here? Okay. And it will be easy. It's not like the type of awkward angle where we can still convert things to gold, but with a lot of drama. This can be super easy conversion to gold, like very, very easy. And within all of this Aries story, there are some beautiful dates. All right. Now, I have more dates than usual that I'm going to talk about in this report. Usually I give just fewer highlights, but there are more dates. So if you want to have all of the important dates and the things that you might see from them delivered into your inbox 1 month early, go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. I only send out 3 newsletters a month. And they're all chock full of ways you can make the most of the starry possibilities. So if you forget that, you can look in the link underneath the video or podcast at the end of the report. Starting right at the beginning, March 1st through 2nd, Jupiter, the great expander, the great benefic, connecting with Venus, love, beauty, money, self-esteem, comfort. What's not to love about that, right? So, this is, if I have something important, that would be a day I would be picking to lock in Jupiter and Venus forever into your project. Wow, that is awesome. So things can just come to you, or you can take active use of that, make active use of that. Now, all Aquarius friends will get yummies from that as potentials anyway, regardless of what your placement is. But those of you who are near 11 degrees will get more of a chance of feeling that directly. So we'll say 6 degrees to 16 degrees, the closer to 11, the more you get the kiss. So that's going to be like January 25th or so through like February 5th or 6th, and the closer to like February 1st or 2nd, the more you're locked in there. Now, I'm not going in order of what's going on here from the calendar perspective. I'm going in order of what I'm excited about because I get to do that. So the next thing I'm very excited about is March 27th, March 28th. Mercury is going to make that same beautiful connection with Jupiter, expanding news, information, learning, education, expression. And Mercury also rules this third house, which is so full of all these Aries energies. So, mobility, travel, anything like that. Really. And your powers of persuasion can also be very high at this time. It's another great time to make big decisions, lock things in. Beautiful energy in the stars. All right. Then we've got, of course, the real astrological new year, March 21st. From the astrological perspective, when the sun moves into Aries is when the new year is, not January 1st, which is arbitrary. We did get to have some feelings of new year this year, though, even though we started within a retrograde, because so much karma was blasted with the eclipses from the end of last year that it really started to feel new. And then as the month of January went on, we started to move into those direct planet configurations, and it really started to feel like things were going. But you're going to get an extra boost of New Year stuff in the days around March 21st. And if you want to make a vision board, which is a board that encapsulates the energetics of what you want to bring into your life, whether it's pictures of the new bedroom set or quotes that inspire you, that you want to bring more of your, into your relationships, or your perfect backyard, what it would look like. These vision boards are very powerful, and the universe is very receptive to your intentions at that time. The days are on the 21st. Okay, so then we also have in the days around the 11th or 12th, Jupiter coming together with Chiron. I did not start with this because I'm not as excited about this, although the positive implications are definitely there. Chiron is the wounded healer, so there's usually going to be some kind of blowing up, expansion rather of something that was difficult for us, a wound on some level. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, emotional, spiritual. So it may be an exacerbation of something that's kind of just like deeply under the root of a lot of trouble for you. But with all this other great energy and just innate in the aspect itself, it could come out and then be healed. Okay, so you could have some pretty dramatic, intense healing that goes on. And you'll feel that in the weeks before, pretty much all month, this will be active. But it's a great chance to blast karma as well. All right, let's see what else I wanted to talk about here. Already have all of that. Oh, for that Mercury-Jupiter one, 17 to 18 degrees. So everyone will get the goodies. But those of you between like 12 and 22 degrees or 23 degrees. So that's going to be like February 2nd through like February 12th or 13th, and the closer to like February 7th or 8th, the more you get the kiss from that one. But again, if you're not in that group, don't worry. It's such a great aspect. Everyone can take advantage of it. And if you don't know your chart, maybe this is impetus to run a free birth chart online so that you can use all this detailed information that I give you each month more and better understand how things are going to connect more personally for you. Along that topic of potentials versus manifestation, if you have all these potentials circling around you in the general transits, but they're not really tying in as much into your chart. They could be less likely to manifest. So if you're watching reports go by and things are not happening for you that are potentials, you can't blame the astrologer, you can't blame astrology, you can't even blame the stars per se. It's that if it's not connected into you personally, the odds of manifestation may be different. Now, if you know that it's happening, you can take advantage of it, even if it's not connecting in with you personally, which is part of why I do this. If you know these potentials are around, even if it's not kind of like coming straight to you, you know it's out there and you can make a nice meal with it. That 60-degree angle I was talking about can help you with that. Okay, so let's see. Let's talk about the full moon on the 7th. Full moon at 16 degrees of Virgo. Fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama, coming to your deep relationships and your deep financial relationships. This could be the culmination of something positive. Maybe you pay off some debt or you get your taxes straightened out. Or this could be some drama within the family or within some place you're financially, connected. This is a bit of an awkward angle for Aquarius, so it could be a little bit of a bump. We all are busy and we all often can't help what we do when, right? We're kind of slaves to what's going on around us and we have to show up for things. But if you have any say in the days around March 7th, schedule yourself light. This way, if anything comes up, you can kind of be with it and not be as overwhelmed. Okay, so we talked about that. Now let's talk about these sign changes. So this month we have 3 sign changes. That also speaks of new beginnings. All this Aries energy speaks of new beginnings. All the planets being direct speaks of new beginnings. Also speaks of months or even years of things being held up, coming through in a big, very fast way. But let's talk about these sign changes. So since August, we've had Mars moving through fellow air sign for you. So hopefully there were blessings involved with a 7-month transit of trines occurring for your placement. And hopefully Mars brought a lot of good activity to your child and children, creativity, romance, bucket list, leadership, passion project energies. But one of the things it probably also brought was indecision and vacillation. Gemini can flip back and forth or see all sides of things, and the retrograde can also bring some blocks to having clarity. So if you've had a lot of that going on, then on March, as we get closer to March 26th, when this changes into Cancer, you might be more ready to make decisions about things. If you've been back and forth on topics that I listed or any other topics, you'll have a time where there'll be a shift with that. And it's going to go into Cancer, which is emotional. Again, not necessarily speaking the language of Aquarius, but there it is in your house of health and your daily experience and pets and animals. And it will make you very motivated to take some action in those arenas. If you are looking for your forever friend, a furred or clawed or pawed thing, then this is one of the best months of the year to get a pet because of the beautiful aspects leaning towards your animal sector. That was supposed to be a paw, by the way. I don't know if that worked out. Anyway, so you could make very positive changes to your daily routine or your systems, and Mars will basically make you obsessed with certain things in those divisions, because that's what Mars does. It's like the border collie of the zodiac, I like to call it. All right, so then we have Saturn on March 8th. We have Saturn moving into Pisces for almost 3 years. So from 2023 to sometime in 2026, we've got Saturn in Pisces. That's going to, first of all, mean Saturn is done with your sign. So let's do like a big hooray about that. Even though Saturn can bring a lot of fruition and stability and ground building things, it's not easy. And it can be especially difficult through the 12th and 1st houses. They're very foundational energies, and it can put a lot of pressure on a person and you feel like you're aged significantly in the time that this has been going on. But one of the things we want to celebrate is the Saturn gift, a lesser known aspect of Saturn. When Saturn leaves a sign or house, it brings gifts. Sometimes it's one big one, sometimes it's multiple ones. They usually are all pretty big. So any work that you put into your physical body, your healing, your image, who you are, how you are in the world, anything that you worked hard on in those areas, or in the Aquarius arenas, community projects, internet-based projects, teams, groups, friendships, social circles, social media, any of work that you put in will show up in the form of gifts. If you hadn't put any work in, maybe you won't have as notable gifts, but the harder you worked in those arenas, the more you'll get your gifts. So that's something to celebrate. Then as Saturn moves into Pisces, this is your house of finances. So this is building, all right? Now, if you've been working hard on your finances, you could have a lot of fruition in your financial sector. Things growing, glowing, building, and strengthening. And if things are dicey there for you, this could be a transit over the next few years that can help you to shore up that department for yourself. And it could start with something very, very, very important called money consciousness. If you've listened to my work before, you've heard me talk about this. And I'm going to keep talking about this because when people's finances aren't straight, or their relationship with the material realm is not straight, it causes a lot of unnecessary stress. And I can tell you from the perspective of being a person who has guided and counseled thousands of people through individual astrology readings, and way more than that through horoscopes. But I have seen that people with a ton of money, rich, famous celebrities, worry about money just as much as people who are living in their car. And I've done many readings for anyone within that spectrum, or more. Okay. Money is this thing that people don't have necessarily straight within themselves. And there are different reasons to worry wherever you are at different levels of the spectrum. So this is an opportunity for you to adjust your money consciousness and in positive ways. Now, I can help you. I have a free class on this. Spirit was very wonderful to me in the way that, I'll tell you a funny story about this. When I first had astrology come to me, I didn't want to do astrology. I wasn't interested in that. Somebody looked at my chart. I traded them for energy work. And she said, you're going to be an astrologer. You're going to be a famous astrologer. You're going to do all of this stuff. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I'm not actually interested in astrology. And some of the things she came to tell me over those months, after eventually I got roped in, astrology took over, much to my chagrin at that time, was she also said, you're going to make a fortune and lose it. At that time, I was trying to become free of the golden handcuffs of my corporate job, and I wanted to be free to help people and write and, do energy work and all of this. And I was building my fortune to be able to do that. So I was like, yay, my fortune is going to build, it's going to work out. And it did. She said, you're going to build the fortune. I'm like, yes. And she's like, and you're going to lose it all. So I was like, what? And she's smiling. She's like, don't worry, you'll get it back. And it was very stressful to me at the time, but it did happen exactly how she said. I built the fortune and I lost it. And the market crashed in 2008 and everything went away. And then Spirit said, I'm going to teach you how to navigate the material realm so that you don't have to worry about that anymore because your relationship will be sound. So if you go to lumelife.com, Lume, life.com, and scroll through the classes, there's one called Unleash Your Money Magnet. Okay, so a lot of the things I learned about money consciousness, I put into that free course. So if you want to work on your money consciousness, you can check that out there. Okay, so what else we have? Pluto. Moving into your sign just as Saturn's moving out, you're like, come on, right? Pluto is going to be dancing back and forth between the late Cap and Aquarius from 2023 to 2024. If you're an early Aquarius, so like January 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, you're kind of in for it for a couple of years, and you've been feeling it. And I'm with you because I have my moon at 29 degrees of Cap. So while it's doing all this dancing, it's like, it's doing it to me too. So I'm going through it with you. But then at the end of 2024, it will just be solidly in Aquarius. It will make its way through for 20 years. But at this point, it's never going to be far enough away from Aquarius to not be influencing. Okay, so that means massive transformation beyond what my vocabulary can explain to you and your relationships. birth, death, transformation, rebirth. Time to be straight with everyone in your life in case the death aspects of Pluto come up. Time to get straight within yourself so that if the birth aspects of Pluto come up, and all of this can be literal deaths, but very often they're figurative births and deaths, continual transformation and rising from the ashes. And this is just sort of dancing along that line for you all in the early sector. But because of this is a Placidus chart, generally my work is in Placidus, but I do like to refer to the whole house sometimes because that makes it relevant for you all who are in the late degree. Like if you have a late degree Aquarius placement, it's going to maybe 20 years before you have Pluto on your actual placement. But that doesn't mean you're not going to start feeling it once Pluto gets into the sign, because from the whole house perspective, it's starting its web of experience then. It will just increase in intensity as it's actually over your placements. So, yeah. So to the theme of our month, prolific Plutonian power, it's yours. It's yours no matter what Aquarius placement you have. And those of you in the early part will have it magnified and multiplied at this time. But all of you have it starting now. So the big question that you get to ask yourself is, what are you going to do with all of that power? And what I hope you're going to answer, I try to stay out of everyone's business. Just like I don't give opinions about stuff. I stay out of political things. I just try to show up to guide you through what's happening to make the most of it. My focus is your self-development and not division. It's how where we're united, But I really hope that any person who's wronged you and not used their power very well, and we've all experienced that, used their power to hurt, to harm terribly, for destruction. I hope that you can find it within yourself by using Pluto for your healing process so that you can use your power wisely, because it is such a massive amount of power for yourself and others, and you can profoundly affect your life, the course of your life, other people, and you have a really great chance here to make a positive impact on yourself, people you know in the world. So hopefully you'll use your prolific Plutonian power for good. Yes. Okay, so go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. The sign up is right there on the homepage. If you want exclusive content and sometimes early access to content that will be public, but I have it early out into my portal, go to AnnieBAstrology.com, Annie, the letter B, astrology.com. If you think I am a prolific expresser in the free realms, which most of my work in the world is free, you should see what I load up here in this subscription portal. And speaking of which, if you think I teach you a lot for free for over a decade, you should imagine what I put into my course, Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. So go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. If you want to start with the basics, you can go to lumelife.com, Lume life.com, and see my Astrology Basics and Beyond course. That Lume Life is also where you get the free abundance course, and I have a free wellness course there as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.